2008 and retired in 2015. I joined because it was my duty as an American. Since the age of 12 years old, I had an understanding that I was probably going to be a soldier due to what happened to my uncle being killed by a terrorist organization in Algeria, and then the 9/11 attacks solidified my path. And so I made a decision to join and become an infantry officer, go to Ranger School, and go serve my country in combat. I was a kid, so my uncle was one of my favorite individuals. We just bonded emotionally. I wanted to be just like him growing up. And so when he was killed, that changed my entire perspective as a child to a preteen on what life meant and how short it is at times. But it also gave me such an early understanding of what evil was in this world, and that this is something I'll probably have to deal with the rest of my life. I received the Medal of Honor because of actions that happened on August 8, 2012 in Kunar province, eastern Afghanistan. That day was just a routine day for my team. We ran a personal security detail for the brigade commander at the time of the 4th 4th Brigade of Fort Carson. And so we were going to the Kunar Provincial Security meeting with Governor Wahidi. In our patrol, we had Colonel Mingus, Colonel Walrath, 3 more battalion commanders. So these 2 individuals, prior Mingus and Walrath, were brigade commanders. So 3 battalion commanders, an Afghan general, 2 majors, 2 command sergeant majors, 1 battalion, 1 brigade level. We were going, just like we had done plenty of times prior to this day, walking about a click, so 1,000 meters towards the compound when we were targeted by 2 motorcycles right in front of our patrol. At that point, I put the Afghan forces up front because I didn't really trust them to be in my rear, and I spread them up because I wanted us to appear bigger. Motorcycles stopped, dumped their bikes, started running away. The reason why they did this is they wanted to create a diversion. At the same time as they came towards the motorcycles, they had individuals in the structure to our left. One of them came out, young man, 18, 20, 22, and he was walking backwards parallel to our patrol. I noticed him, didn't see any weapon. It looked suspicious, obviously. He's a threat. But when he did a 180 and then another 90-degree turn and cut into our patrol, I knew at that point that there was something really fishy about what was going on. So I started yelling at him. I sort of implemented my own escalation of force. I yelled at him, no response, never looked at me, always looked forward. I ran towards him at that point. I hit him as hard as I could across the chest with my rifle. When I hit him across the chest, I felt that he had something on him. I didn't realize that that was actually a suicide vest at that specific moment, so I let go of my rifle, and then I grabbed him by the chest. At that point, I understood that he was wearing a suicide vest, and I had only one choice at that, and that choice was to do my job as a soldier. This is something that we all volunteer for. We raise our right hand, take the oath of office, and understand the consequences of our decisions, which are do your job at all costs. If that means that you don't make it home, but your brothers do, then that's a successful career, and or a successful day at work. I grabbed him, I knew at that point I had to throw him as far away as possible, as quickly as possible to make sure that the boss lived. I had 2 individuals that we were tasked to protect. That was the Command Sergeant Major Griffin, and then Colonel Mingus. So people ask, what prompts you to do what you do? Well, your duty and love for your brothers. So I did whatever I could do at that point. Just grabbed him, threw him. Sergeant Mahoney, my radio guy, followed me, finished him down. He landed at my feet, he detonated. At that point, he killed 4, which were Command Sergeant Major Griffin, Major Gray, Major Kennedy, and Reggae Abdel Fattah, one of the State Department individuals. I was knocked out about 20 feet away from the initial blast, woke up and realized that I was missing a good chunk of my left leg, and just all I wanted to know was, what's the status of Mountain Warrior 6, Colonel Mingus, and Mountain Warrior 7, Command Sergeant Major Griffin. I found out Mountain Warrior 6 was good to go, a minor concussion, and Mountain Warrior 7 did not make it. And so that just started this whirlwind of my life changing at a rapid rate. It ended my career after a couple years in the hospital recovering. It also created 4 widows, and changed my life. But now I have a different perspective on a lot of things, and I know I have a different mission. If I ever think of what would have happened if I didn't react the way I was supposed to react as an infantry officer at the specific moment of August 8, 2012, no, it's just woulda, coulda, shoulda. You don't think about these things. Do your job. And that's what create survivor's guilt, because that's the way I was thinking. And I was thinking of, why didn't I do more and bring everybody home, or why did I live when they didn't live? I don't know. Maybe everybody would have been killed. Maybe nobody would have been killed. I can't predict these things. I just know that we had a threat and we needed to take care of the threat. And unfortunately, no matter what we tried to do, we still lost 4. So I wear the medal for, originally when I put it on, it was specifically for our Gold Star families, because that's truly what I believe is this medal belongs to the Griffins, the Grays, the Kennedys, and the Abdel Fattahs. Fact. Yeah, I hate the word hero. I don't believe in that word specifically, unless you pretty much give up your life for others. And these 4 individuals did it so that you and I can have this conversation today. But there are 4 families that don't have their loved ones for the holiday season or every single other day of the year. And so this belongs to them. It is a representation of their sacrifice for all of us, for our way of life, for our freedoms. And I'm just a courier for it. But also, of course, the past year, I've realized that this is just so symbolic and so big for our military and our country that you wear it for all those who have served, all those who have died, and all those who will serve. So you're a representation of the military, of the ethos of our military. And so you got to act upon that level of understanding, of respect and honor. And you have to do this every single day of your life. Because this is something that even though they put it around your neck and they call you a recipient, you still have to earn every day. And people will always look at you as an example. And that to me is very important. And so for that, I wear it for our armed forces, I wear it for our country, I wear it for our flag, I wear it for our beliefs, I wear it for our Constitution, I wear it for everything that we stand for. But most importantly, I wear it for my 4 friends that didn't come home on that specific day. So being the first foreign-born Medal of Honor recipient since the Vietnam War really never crossed my mind. I always consider myself an American. I had an opportunity to have been adopted by Larry, my father, who was from Gary, Indiana, so he raised me as an American. Well, at least I'm American mindset. I will always have my French roots, but to me, since the age of about 10, 11, 12, I always consider myself American above anything else. I'm an American, so that's just the way I see it. But others see it differently. I hear it all the time. You're an immigrant. That is a fact. I am an immigrant. And guess what? I'm still an American. Right. This wristband is the one that remembers my 4 friends, but specifically on this one is 3: Major Kennedy, Major Gray, and Command Sergeant Major Griffin. Just a reminder every single day that when you have those doubts or you start to forget, right, that I'm still here with a purpose, and that I need to make sure that I never stray away from the path. This is something that nobody wants, and all these individuals have received this medal, whether they lived or didn't live, did their duty. And I think that 100% of us would return this medal if we could bring back our friends as well. Nobody serves in the military for a medal. So it's duty, it's honor. And it's something that represents our military and what we do. We're just the select few that were chosen to wear this medal. I promise you, there are thousands of others that deserve it. So this is my first inauguration. I always enjoy going to Medal of Honor events just because I get to hear more and more stories about what the incredible achievement that these individuals have taken in their lives. And not just military-wise for the actual actions on for the medal, but for what they've done after receiving the medal and being members of the community, leaders in the community. I think the inauguration, for example, is going to be a pure example of why I love this country so much, the peaceful transition of power. I think that, we've seen this specific political scene as being very hectic, chaotic, and hostile. But tomorrow we're going to get to see President Obama change over and give power to President Trump, and it's going to be peaceful, and it's just it represents our country. This is who we are, and very few other countries really do it the way we do. To me, that's a moment of history, and that's why we fight for our opportunities. This is what our Constitution is all about, and this is what thousands and millions have died for, and it's just an honor to be a part of it. It's all about how you want it in terms of mentorship by the oldest recipients. I think that there is a big generation disconnect, if you really look at it. And so there's going to be obviously some points where it's kind of different, just the technology itself, social media, like for example. But you can never take away from the experiences that these individuals have had. And if you think that you don't have anything to learn from them, you're wrong. And so there is a lot of mentorship, specifically over the first year, where they're going to go out to you and say, hey, how are things going? What do you need? It's all about us as well on the younger side to seek that support and ask questions. And some do, some don't. It's just the way it is with anything. Other specific Medal of Honor recipients that I've developed a friendship with, so I'm friends with quite a few of them, but I'll give you one young and one older. So Gary Luttrell on the older side, he is a pure representation of the type of individual I would like to be like years down the road. I think his story is fascinating, what he did in Vietnam, but really the type of individual that he is today and the way he leads and how funny he is, but how serious he can get and the advice that he gives us. We agreed, my fiance and I, that Gary was going to be the one that marries us. So that's the type of respect that I have for him. Now on the younger side, I think the one individual that I really connected with early on, other than Clint, because Clint and I were from the same unit, is Sal. I think a lot of people can say that about Sal. He's just got this jolly type of personality. His character is one of an individual that you want to be around because he's not going to complain and he's going to see a positive outlook on different things, but he's really going to go out there and support you the best way that he can. And that to me is really important. And that's what you see in a good friend. And so he is one of my closest friends, and I think that through him, I've been able to sort of maneuver these waters over the past years with the medal with a little bit more ease. It's all about who you want around you and who you're going to seek out as that support system. And I thought that Sal, to me, would make sense. And goodness gracious, I'll tell you, after 14 months, 100%, maybe it's probably one of the best decisions.